Ow. Ooh, where am I? Oh, seem to be in a tent somewhere. What happened? Oh, my head hurts. Well. Oh, a couple of people out there. At least I'm not in Oblivion or someplace like that. Oh. Okay. So where am I then? Wait a moment. Is this? Yes. I'm in Dunharrow. How did I get here? Now, memories are seeming dim. Let's see. All this memory of some other land that starting to fade. Maybe that was a bad dream. Last thing I remember in Rohan was getting hit on the head when the wall exploded. Well, if I got here and I'm in one piece and these people don't seem to be rushing around in a panic, I guess we must have survived at Helm's Deep. Guess that's good news. I wonder if Eowyn's anywhere around here. She might be able to tell me something. Alright, where could she be? Oh, wait a moment. Looks like a pretty big tent up there. And if anyone's going to have a big tent, it should be Eowyn. Well, unless the quartermaster might have a big tent also. Actually, that tent I was in looked like the quartermaster's tent. Alright. Ooh. Hello, Eowyn. What happened since the battle on the wall?
Will you aid the horse lords?
Hey, Pineleaf. Well met. See, you're awake now. We have so much to speak of. All right.
I am glad you have come with such haste, for these troubles weigh heavily upon me.
Oh, yes. Well, my head still weighs heavily upon me. You wouldn't have to have any willow bark on you. No? All right. Pineleaf, I am glad that you have come so soon after waking, for these troubles weigh heavily upon me, and I do not know they may be overthrown. It is my uncle's choice to ride to Minas Tirith, and thereby satisfy the vows of his forefathers. But why should he not ride for Gondor with every sword he can command, either by oath or love? It is folly to allow proven warriors to abandon my uncle's course, lest it be doomed by their absence. And yet, in the early hours, Aragorn and his kinsmen departed Dunharrow for the paths of the dead. You're kidding me, aren't you? He spoke of need, but I can see no need of that road, save that of a yawning tomb that hopes to be filled. The dead men of Dunharrow do not suffer the living to pass. Several of the men saw him go, and speak words of despair. Find these men, and set their minds aright, if you can. And when you return, do the same for me. I do not think you can, but I must wear a brave face for the men, and will not give in to sorrow for their sake. So I need to talk to 3 people. I just got up and I'm already doing quests. Typical! Typical, 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 typical. Well, here's someone. Maybe he needs talking to? Ooh. Hello there. Why don't you tell me about yourself? My name is Sidrak, and I am a man of the Westfold. I have long served Erkebrand, and have ridden with him on many campaigns. I rejoice that the Erlingas will soon ride for Gondor. But I expected more soldiers to arrive by now. Yeah, that is true. Well,
The grim Northerners departed Dunharrow at first light.
the grim Northerners departed Dunharrow at first light, and I did not stay to stay to explain their course. I would think them cowardly had I not seen the road they took, south, along the dim Holt road. That way lies death. I'm sure Aragorn had his reasons for taking such a road. After all, it almost was ordained by Elrond and all that he take that road. You're not swayed. I do not doubt he had his reasons, friend, but it is clear his loyalty is not to Theoden King. We will have need of every man if we are to ride to Minas Tirith, as my king commands, and I see we are cheated of a powerful fighting force by Aragorn's choice. I count the chances of our success against the enemy less and less with each sword he takes with him on the mountain. I saw the winged beast over Edoras. I know what dangers we face. Okay, I guess he means a fell beast of some sort. Alright, and what did you see in Edoras? 2 days past, I was at Edoras for the weapon take as Theoden King commanded. Some few men had already arrived when a great winged shadow flew over Edoras and swooped low upon the very roofs of Meduseld. The bravest man I have ever known were frozen in fear at the sound of his terrible call. In other words, a Nazgul. The shadow departed after that, but Gandalf knew it was not safe to gather at Edoras, and he counseled us to hurry at once to Dunharrow. Yes, if a Nazgul's in the area, it won't be safe. Well, can you tell me anything about Gondor? I have only been to Gondor once, when I was very young, but the memory remains very strong with me to this day. My father took a cart with some trade and goods along the great west road into Anorion, but on this occasion he allowed me and my brothers to come along. I remember standing at a parapet in the White City, listening to the banners snapping in the wind. I always expected to see Minas Tirith again, but it never happened. Now it seems I will see the White City once again after all. Yeah, unfortunately in the middle of a war. Alright, thank you. I better talk to someone else. I'm sure there's someone else who, well, I'm going to try to cheer up. Obviously I didn't do a very good job with him. Yeah, right. Yes, let the little hobbit cheer up these big men who are getting ready to fight. Hello there.
Men are still arriving at Dunharrow from all corners of the mark.
But I do not think it will be enough. I rode forth from Hornburg as my king commanded, and most hamlets and villages responded to his call with clear voices and proud hearts. But this day I see few of those who spoke loudest. On my return to Forlaw in Wildermore, I was beset by an orc raiding party. The injuries I sustained will keep me from riding to my king's train, to my frustration and disappointment. Swords and spears need men to wield them, and that resource is in short supply. I say men, but the blood of Theoden's king's niece Eowyn burns for Rohan, and she would fight bravely for the kingdom, were it permitted. Alas, it is not, and the both of us will be kept from doing what we desire, for I am a man injured, and she is a woman unwounded. Unhappy fortunes. Right. So, where are you from? I am Bosa, and I make my home in Edoras. I had been in the service of Theoden King for many years, summers and winters alike. I have worn his armor proudly and all that time, but never so proudly as in the battle of the Hornburg, where I stood at the side of my countrymen in defense of the king. Keep, and afterwards I rode throughout the mark, bearing the king's summons to the wapentake. It was only my return that I received my injury, and now the king has decided I am not well enough to ride with him to Gondor. Yes, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry to have missed the end of that battle. Last I saw, a wall was blowing up, and I got knocked out. Well, what can you tell me about Eowyn? She is her brother's match in her love for Rohan and her skill at arms. But Eomer is permitted to ride in the war, as she is not. She has my sympathies, for with this injury I am to have cast aside by those who they wish only to protect. Yeah, I know that's not easy. Well, do you think you'll be all right in the end? These injuries make it difficult for me to ride a horse. I make it the rest of the way only through the careful guidance and measured gait of the steed, and could not hope to fight to the end of the journey. This makes me merely a burden for the right of Gondor, but a tremendous weakness in the line upon our arrival. My presence would harm the king more than my absence. My body will heal in time, but it is my mind that will hurt longest, if I cannot fight for my king when he goes forth to Gondor. Yes, I am sorry. Well, well, looks like they let these flowers grow quite high. I suppose they're not used to hobbits walking around. Hello there.
This road leads to the Dunharrow. Why would anyone go to that haunted mountain?
Or tread the paths beneath it. That is not bravery. Only folly would lead my feet there. I'm sure Aragorn considered his reasons for braving that road sufficient, but I hope he is not wrong. It seems a great shame to allow a skilled warrior to disappear in such a place when he could use the talents elsewhere, such as at other battles. And there are battles coming ahead. And where are you from? I doubt you have ever been there, friend, but I thank you for the chance to think of a moment of home. My family lives in a small village to the east and north of here, a journey of many miles. Floodwind it is called. If it has any claim for remembrance, it would be Errol's Hallow, which is nearby, but for me it will always be my home and hearth. Actually, that's nice. I'll tell you, I have actually been there. So, tell me about the Dunharrow. I would sooner tell you of it than go there myself, save at the king's command, of course. It is called the Haunted Mountain, and it is said that the dead men of ancient times live there still, crying out for vengeance upon those who still draw the breath of the living. None can pass their ways. Oh yeah, I've met some oath breakers from time to time. I know what you mean. A dead man could walk the paths beneath the mountain and come out into the moonlight of Blackroot Vale in Gondor. But that is said only by fools or braggarts, and not by honest folk. Yeah, it sounds dangerous. So, what do you know about Gondor? I know that Theoden King plans to gather many thousands of sword and spear, and then to right to Minas Tirith in satisfaction of an ancient bonds of loyalty and friendship. Our two kingdoms have long been allies since the days of Eor, and we will stand together against our enemies. I'm afraid that the extent of my knowledge, and I've never actually traveled there. Yeah, until now, I guess. Alright, thank you very much. I better talk to Eowyn. I better quickly talk to Eowyn. Alright, I'm sure that she will. Well, see if I could cheer her up. Unlikely, since she's already pretty much said that she's hard to cheer up. Hello there, I spoke with those men.
We are plagued with ill fortune. A child may have followed Aragorn into the paths of the dead.
Yes, I know. And a captain this size is bound to be attract the attentions of the children and others who live near. That much I expected, but I did not expect even children to act in such reckless, foolhardy fashion. This boy tells me one of his friends, Elfdag, may have followed Aragorn into the paths of the dead. I thought it was a mere boast of a child, but none have seen the Elfdags today. I dispatched a number of men to find him, but they too have not returned. Elfdag is the grandson of Elfhelm, Pineleaf. We cannot have lost him in this fashion. Oh, right, okay, and that's the problem. Yes. Alright, now, what is this all about?
I did not mean for it to go so far.
Right, you're my height. Wonderful. I did not mean for this to go so far. We watched the men ride out to the mountain in the morning, and then Elfdag challenged me to follow them, and I did the same to him, and before you could say Helm Hammerhead, we were right up at the dark door. I returned to the camp after that, and I thought he followed me, my heels, but now he's gone, and no one has seen him. Oh, my.
If I bring you to the entrance, will you enter the mountain and search for Elfdag?
You are a hero, are you not? I overheard some of the men speaking of your deeds, and by their account, you seem to be accomplished adventurer. If I bring you to the entrance, will you enter the mountain and search for Elfdag? I will not follow you in, I promise. Let me know if you are ready, and I will bring you to the place. If you have a fellowship of like-minded adventurers, bring them along too. I dare say there will be a place for them as well. All right, very well. Ooh. Some interesting items too. Oh, eeny, meeny, miny, or mo. Alright, I guess I can accept that. And we will go in just a moment. First thing, Eowyn? You wouldn't have to have any armor my size. If I want to go into the paths of the dead and find out what happened to them, I'm going to be armed and armored, and I seem to have lost my weapons. Oh, you have something aside for me? Oh, good. Not the same stuff I came in with. Well, I guess that is pretty dented right now. Alright. I will change, and then I'll be ready to go off in the next episode of Pineleaf in Gondor.